2001 Mustang Bullitt had a lot of unique features. It was a pretty cool car, had a lot of things to throw back to make it look like the old one. It even came in 3 different colors for 2001. But among those features, one of the things was the exhaust. Even though it still had the same mid-pipe with the same catalytic converters as a normal Mustang GT, it did have a different exhaust catback system. And most of the piping was the same 2¼ inch piping. And when you look at the advertisement, it says unique sounding free-flowing exhaust with rolled tips. So if you look at the back of a Bullitt Mustang, you'll notice that the exhaust tips are a little bit different than the Mustang GT. You can see this is the Bullitt's rolled tip exhaust, and this is compared to the Mustang GT exhaust tips, which I like as well. I think they're really good looking, but the Bullitt does have a specific unique exhaust tip. As a matter of fact, the Mach 1 has the same ones as well later on. But the thing about this is most people look at the exhaust tips on these and they think that that is the difference between the Mustang Bullitt and the Mustang GT, when in fact the mufflers are actually different as well. They've been tuned to sound more like the 68 GT390. Now the cool thing about this is Ford actually spent a lot of time to do this, and these mufflers have a different part number on them and they are different than any other Mustang, and so when you see that the Bullitt has special exhaust, it's not just the tips that you see, it is the mufflers as well. Now when you're driving the car with any exhaust system, the exhaust is a lot quieter on the inside of the car than it is from people behind you, from hearing the car from behind. So sometimes you might not think it's very loud, but it is louder than you think it is. And for me, the Bullitt's stock exhaust sounded good, but I definitely wanted it louder, and I really wanted the SLP exhaust. I think it sounds really good and lets the 4.6 liter give its true sound through a louder muffler. It's a straight through muffler. You can see right through the muffler if you look through it. I also like the MagnaFlow MagnaPacks and the Borla Stingers. I think those are all very good straight through mufflers that really let you hear this 4.6 liter, and I have those exhaust systems on my other Mustangs. But the first thing I did was I took off this Bullitt exhaust and I put an SLP on because it's what I had on my Mach 1 and it was really loud and I really liked it, and I still like it today. But the stock Bullitt exhaust is special and it does sound good, so I had the sense to keep the full catback when I took it off my car. Now I did cut the piping right after the mufflers where it can be welded on again easily in another case, or if somebody's restoring a full Bullitt and I have that exhaust system to bring it back to stock. But if I knew then what I know now, I would know that you didn't have to cut it off to get it off the car. You could remove the wheels, remove the shocks, remove the quad shocks, and undo the control arms, the lower control arms, and you could snake that exhaust system out of there without cutting it. So there are ways to do it. I didn't know it at the time, but anyway, that's just a small fact. In case someone else is looking to take off their Bullitt stock exhaust, I would try to get it off without cutting it or whatever. But anyway, I did come across the footage I had of my Bullitt with the stock exhaust on it the day that I had cut off the exhaust and put the SLP exhaust system on, and I made sure to make a video of what the car sounded like, and I have a startup and I have a couple revs and a drive off, and I looked everywhere for that footage when I was making the story to my Bullitt Mustang and I couldn't find it. I did eventually find it in an old iMovie format, and so I was able to restore it. Although it's a little grainy, the picture isn't as good as it should be. The sound is, though. So the sound is perfect, and I wanted to make this video very comparable to the Mustang GT exhaust, the stock Mustang GT exhaust. And so I even went to the trouble to getting my old Sony video camera out. It's a Sony HD, you know, probably a 2010, 2012 version Sony camera. And I went out and I recorded the GT that I have right now, which has the stock exhaust on it, so I could have a true comparison using the same video camera and everything. So this should be a pretty good comparison. and I really went to all the trouble to make sure to reshoot it with this camera, this other camera, so that I could compare it exactly to what this other footage sounded like. And I'm pretty excited that I had made this video originally with the Bullitt before I cut the exhaust off of it, because back then I wasn't making YouTube videos, I wasn't doing anything like that, so it's good that I did document how the car sounded with its stock original exhaust system on it. So I have the video of the Bullitt with a startup and a few revs and a drive off, and the same thing with the GT. And so the only difference is the GT is an automatic, so as it drives off there's a little different load on the engine. It does sound a little bit different because of the automatic, but you get the idea. You'll see if you can tell the difference between the Bullitt stock exhaust and the GT stock exhaust. Both stock factory H pipes with catalytic converters. So here we go. And I also have this footage of my cousin's bone stock exhaust Mustang Bullitt. It was a black Bullitt. So that's the exhaust footage I have of a stock Bullitt Mustang and a stock Mustang GT, and I am going to put the rest of this video out there if anyone wants to stick around and listen. The rest of this video is the SLP exhaust that I had put on the car. These were actually the loudmouth 2s on a Mustang Bullitt, and so a little bit quieter than the loudmouth ones I have on it now, but the rest of this video is the Bullitt driving around and some footage of the Mach 1 with the SLP exhaust as well. So if you want to stick around and listen to that, go ahead. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more Mustang content.